Good morning and welcome to the NuSpecian live Q&A. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Aston. Good morning.
Thank you all for being here. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. Those of you who are new, maybe family and friends are joining today for the weekend. Just want to let you know we are NuSpecies. We're a natural health company. We manufacture and invent and manufacture our own unique line of herbal medicine and plant-based supplements. All of our formulas are designed to help your body be resilient against some of the toughest of health challenges.
Mhm.
And we also, after 18 years of experience, have formed an integrative health consulting practice because many of you are already dealing with health challenges. You're working with your doctors in the medical field. And so you want the best of what you can get from your medical care, but you also want to start living a natural lifestyle. And we help you straddle both or get the best out of both worlds. Um,
Mhm.
so what we like to let everyone know though is that a good health choice for one person is not necessarily the right choice for someone else. And that's why we host this Q&A every Saturday at 10 a.m. so that you can get the answers to your questions that will help you continue along your own unique health journey. So thank you so much for being here. Good morning. Hi, Headley. Hi, Donna. We know not everybody always has questions, but we love when you at least say hi and let us know you're there.
And
Great.
feel free to ask your questions. Don't be shy. No question is a bad question or a silly question. I think the answer to your question, whatever it is silly. If it's considered silly, that's it. It's the answer, not the question itself. So ask away. Ask for your family. Ask for your friends. Ask for your coworkers. Whatever issues you think they have, you can ask on their behalf, and then you can take the information back to them. We're here to serve you, your family, and your friends, your community, your church, your organizations. We're here to serve all of the above and more.
Absolutely. And if you don't have questions, we will just chat about the things that are on our minds or
Mhm.
things that have come up this week. So, but you can bump in anytime if you have a question, even if it's off topic. Don't be afraid because the whole point of the show is to talk about what you want to talk about.
Mhm.
All right. So we'll let more people start joining. And in the meantime, we can say if you celebrate Thanksgiving, we hope you had either a wonderful celebration or a quiet, peaceful day, however you do it. We hope it went the way that you wanted.
Mhm.
We split, and he did the quiet, peaceful day, and I did the the celebration with the family, and it worked out great. It was a wonderful time.
Yeah, I needed quiet time. Sometimes you need, time to think and to meditate and to relax and to just not get involved with anything at all, just other than just breathe the fresh air and listen to the silence. It's That's very important for me. I don't know about you all. When I was a kid, I used to tell Jillian when I was a kid, like 3, 4 years old. From that age, I used to walk off into the hills, into wherever forest, and they had to come look for me because I always have this great affinity for nature. Still do to this day. Sometimes I feel like I'm still a child.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday I celebrated um, the holiday with silence, just silence.
Aston is one of the few people that I know, maybe the only person I know,
That
that in this day and age can still just sit in silence and think.
there's a lot
And
going on inside
yeah, it's very important.
that brain of
It's a really,
mine.
really important thing to be able to do. And so many of us have become so used to distraction with our devices, we forget that that's actually like it's almost unbearable to just sit and be quiet and not need to be distracted by anything and then just see what comes up. A lot of, we had the question a couple of weeks ago about the person just not feeling balanced.
Hmm.
And sometimes that is because we don't realize all of these forces pulling at us all day long that can actually be mitigated if you choose to respect the silence and respect distraction free time for your mind. A lot of the time we feel worn out and burnt out, and it's not because we were even doing anything important. are urgent. We were just letting our brains be distracted constantly. Um,
Hmm.
and to the annoyance of people who know me, I actually don't have any notifications on my phone. So unless I choose to check my text messages, I'm not going to see that you texted me. And our team always knows, like, if you want to, if it's urgent, just call me, because unless I'm staring at my phone and I'm ready to check it, I'm not going to see that people are chatting me. And I love it that way. I love that my phone is just quiet.
There are two powerful forces out there in the universe, in nature, in the universe, around us, in us. One is negative, and the other is positive. I have found, can't speak for anyone else, but I have found that if I don't have that balance with the negative and the positive, I cannot connect with my spirituality. My spirituality has to do with consciousness and purpose, and just, accepting reality as it is.
Mm,
So those two forces have to be in a state of equilibrium for me to be able to connect, because I need to be in the middle. I need to be in that neutral space
mm,
to connect. And that's why I go for long walks. That's why when I used to run long distances, I would run for all those miles nonstop. It was a great connection for me. It was a great middle neutral place for me.
mm,
So I hope this, informs some of your thoughts, your own thoughts.
mhm,
And but believe me, it is crucial, critical to have that mental, spiritual, physical balance. Without that, we are never going to have good health, because any imbalance is a state of toxicity. You can look it up and
mhm,
you'll see that's it's toxic. Too much negative is toxic, too much positive is toxic.
mm.
You need to be in the middle. You need to be in that middle space.
And I'm laughing. It's not actually funny, but it's just we think about this all the time, because when how we always tell you when we're working with you, based on, you always ask, okay, well, what should I get for with new species formulas? And we are always trying to figure out, well, what are your expectations? Where are you as an individual? And personalities play a big role in whether people get help. People's mindsets play a big role. So for example, like when Aston says you can have too much negative or too much positive, we've worked with people who run the whole range of, like, too much negative is, telling yourself, well, this is not going to work, or this can't be cured, or I can't be healed, or I'm not going to feel better. It's not possible.
Hmm.
To then people on the other end of the spectrum, too much positive, which is just like, well, God's got it.
Hmm.
And,
I'm not.
meanwhile,
I'm not claiming
I'm not
it.
claiming it,
I'm not owning it.
God is going to he's going to take care of it. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, people die every day, and God is not saving them for whatever reason. So if your goal is to actually live, you got to work with God, you got to work with yourself, you got to work with us. You have to
Hmm.
advocate for yourself and actually make it happen.
And exactly what you said is what, the laws of physics have shown, and the laws of chemistry, the laws of nature, the laws of the universe. They all have shown that if you get too positive, you ignore the risk. And in this case, what Jillian was saying, to health, you're not going to be predisposed in your mind to look for whatever the cures you need for whatever the issue that your doctors are saying you have. You're not going to do that, because you're going to believe that magically, miraculously, some magic one is going to happen and the issue will go away. That doesn't happen. Magic and all these things don't happen.
Mhm,
If you want a cure, you have to go find a cure.
mhm,
And that's why too much positive can be bad, and then too much negative can also cause disease. So
mhm,
either way, either spectrum, you whatever extreme you go to, you are endangering your health, and you're limiting the chances of living better and living longer.
mhm,
So you have to be in that space where you face reality and say, okay, something is wrong, and I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to do something about my blood pressure, my diabetes, my cancer, whatever issue. You're going to do something about it, rather than just hope
right,
that it goes away, because that won't happen, people.
right. It won't.
No, not in the realm of physics and chemistry. It's not supposed to happen. But if
Mhm.
it happens, then,
Yeah.
it doesn't happen for a lot of people out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, despite a lot of our testimonials, it isn't magic. There are people who, for whatever reason, their body is just ready to heal and is ready to do the work. And with just a little bit of help, they get results very quickly and very dramatically.
Hmm.
And they tend to be the ones who give us testimonials. But that doesn't necessarily represent what is going to happen for a lot of folks, which it can take longer, it can take a lot of work, it can take a lot of trial and error.
Hmm.
And we'd love reviews or testimonials that include those stories. So if you are willing to go onto Google and review us, or go to our website and pick some products you've used and write reviews on those products, it's helpful for people to know what they're getting into and what's a version of what they might be able to expect.
A review could be, you pick the detox if you like it and just say, I like it. You don't even have to go beyond that. Just say, I like it. If you really do like it, you like it. A lot of you love different formulas for different reasons. Um, and those reviews are very important because now we are embarking even more so on our journey to help more people. And medical science is now coming out with all this information that Julia wanted to talk about,
Mhm.
some of it. And I was telling Jillian a few days ago how there's this scientific trend in the medical community worldwide to go into labs and make antioxidants compounds to help people who are doing chemo or radiation or other medication. That's in the works. And the reason why I chuckle about that is because we've been saying for years that if you're doing chemo, radiation, if you've been doing medications that have side effects, you need antioxidants in the body. That's what NuSpecies is, to support the body against those chemicals. Because those chemicals are toxic, those medications are toxic, and they're going to damage cells and tissue and organs. Side effects, that's what that's called. The headaches, the dizziness, the pain, the nausea, the fatigue, all of those are physical symptoms of something going wrong in the body. And now the community is moving to that. They may not get to it for many years to come. It's just in the works now. It's just the acknowledgement of medical science that these medications are very destructive in some cases. We know people at NuSpecies. We have had clients who have done a lot of different medication, and we know the medication cause the progression of their disease to get worse and lead into their premature death. That's what I am saying. I know that it is.
I was reading some comments, so I didn't fully put together the point you were making. So I
The point I'm
apologize.
the point I'm making is that we have been using NuSpecies now for over 20 years to support the body,
Mhm.
whether you're taking medication or not. And a huge part of NuSpecies is antioxidants.
Right, right.
And now the medical community, it has announced that they're doing studies all around the world to figure out the type of antioxidants that people really need when they're taking these heavy medication,
Mm,
including radiation and chemotherapy. And that ties to the point that you raised before, that some doctors do embrace NuSpecies with their clients taking medication and chemo and radiation, and other doctors don't.
right,
So there's a divide in the medical community worldwide.
right. But the good news is that we don't have to wait for the doctors to catch up on whether people need antioxidants while taking like chemotherapy or radiation, because if you're using new species, you're already getting those antioxidants. So
Mhm.
it's already happening for you.
Exactly.
The worry would be if you have a doctor who's telling you, well, you shouldn't be taking anything that's going to provide antioxidants while doing a particular treatment, and then now you're stuck making a decision that you don't want to have to make, Because if you maybe just had a different doctor who said an opposite, you wouldn't be making that decision. And it's scary because when you're not well and the stakes are high and you don't have a lot of time, you don't want to waste not even one day of working toward helping your body heal.
Mhm.
So Diane said, it seems like you guys were hearing me say that I'm not claiming any sickness. She said, but I'm not going to just sit down and not do anything. I believe in my NuSpecies products. And it's a good point, Diane, because what I think people mean when they say that they're not claiming it is that they're not going to build their identity around being sick. They're not going to say, I am sick. Maybe they have cancer, but they aren't claiming it as in I am sick or it has become part of me because the mind can do what you say. So if you can say, well, okay, cancer is there, but it's not going to take me. I'm going to fight it.
Mhm.
But, when people just say I'm not claiming it, it can sound like they mean they're just going to ignore it. And we always have to be sure, like clarify what people mean when they say it, because obviously they probably wouldn't be coming to NuSpecies if they just planned on ignoring it, right?
Right.
But sometimes we're trying to figure out like what to recommend. And if someone is not willing to acknowledge that they have this disease, how can we recommend a package that is more expensive if they're like, no, 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 I'm not thinking about that. I'm not talking about that. Just give me B vitamins. Well, you know, if you came to us with cancer, we may need to think of something more powerful.
Right. And by stating that I don't claim it, are people saying that spiritually, God is going to take care of it, or spiritually, something is going to happen and make it go away? The positive, because not claiming it to me is a form of positive. Of I would say it's extraordinary positive to say I'm not claiming it. And people who would say to me, clients would say to me, they say it with a smile.
Mm,
You could see that they're just totally unafraid. So
mm,
whether it was bravado or just confidence that they're going to get past it, that could be part of it too. So the statement can
mm,
be taken, with many meanings, and usually we get confused because we don't, as you say, we don't know where to go. Should we recommend something really powerful, that will work as quickly as possible, like our ideal formulas or options, or should we recommend something basic because this client is saying that they're not owning it, which means that it doesn't exist or
right,
it's not a big problem?
right.
Because if you don't think it's a big problem, why should we go ahead and recommend the best that we have, the
Mm,
ideal or the super ideal or the options that we have to the
mhm,
ideal?
mhm,
So, and that's where communication can be very, very complicated.
mhm. Well, and also on a spiritual level and on a mental level, because that is a huge part of healing, it's difficult. And I know I talk with my mom about this all the time because she's going through what she's going through. And she does a lot of meditations and a lot of spiritual work where she's supposed to say to herself, like, it's already done. And
Mhm.
she's supposed to feel and believe it is done. And when she speaks about herself, she's not supposed to say things like, I am sick. Like, she's not supposed to claim it in that way. But at the same time, you do have to keep living in a way that doesn't mean that you can now just go have a bagel for breakfast, right? You still have to drink your green juices and do all the stuff that she has to do, which is hard.
Mhm.
So it's like, how do I continue to act in the way that is going to help my body heal while I'm also supposed to be claiming it's already done, And what I think what they mean more about it is that when you are talking to yourself inside your head, because
Mhm.
a lot of our internal conversation impacts what our bodies do and react and the actions we eventually take, and it can affect us unconsciously if we aren't being aware of the stories that we're telling ourselves in our head. So I think on a spiritual level, on a mental level, we're really supposed to be saying things that are, it is already done, this will be taken care of, or it's already taken care of, I'm strong, I am, it's like affirmations.
Mhm.
um but then still take all the actions we need to do to get our body to then meet where our mind is.
Mhm.
So I think it's more or less just like not saying to yourself, "Oh, I like getting scared and producing adrenaline and cortisol because you're afraid all day." It's like, this is already done and that my actions are following. Because even once we're healed or cured, if that is the goal, it doesn't mean we can just go back to the way we lived before anyway, right? We're still going to be making our juices and eating our salads and exercising and doing all the things. So it can be done and you still can be fighting to keep it done.
Hmm. I agree. I agree that if there's a balanced approach where you say I don't claim it, but I'm going to fight it the hardest I can fight it. By you saying that you don't claim it, you could be lowering your cortisol because cortisol people are extremely destructive
Right.
when it's high. It destroys the brain, it destroys the organs, it destroys the immune system, it destroys everything. And if that's the point, is to lower the cortisol level, the stress level, then I would say that's a very potent mindset to have
Mhm.
if you are going to fight, a disease or fight a health issue, or even just approaching life itself, life events itself,
Mhm.
normal life events with kids and family and friends and work. I think it's a very potent mindset to have.
Yeah. And it can also help with like I said, like it can help with the storytelling in your head because for example, when someone is diagnosed with cancer, I've seen where that person will then correlate everything that happens in their body after that diagnosis with cancer. Even if it's actually something else completely that they need to get help with,
Hmm.
they're thinking, well, it's of course I have cancer. Of course I'm going to be falling apart. Of course I'm going to have pain. Of course
Hmm.
this and that. And then they just don't go seek that specialist or a different solution. So that's where it is important in your mindset to not now tell yourself this story that you're falling apart and you're dying and everything sucks and everything's going to go to hell anyway.
Hmm.
That I can see where saying, like, I'm not claiming it can keep you open to living your life and pursuing health no matter what.
Right. Um, my grandmother, one of my grandmothers, she always talk about this self fulfilling prophecy,
Mm.
and when they say that to you as a child, you don't understand what they're saying. You have to gather so much experiences in life to really see that if you keep telling yourself that something is there, eventually the mind will believe that something is there. If you start telling yourself that your body can't be cured, your body can't be fixed, at some point the body will believe you that it's not going to fix. You don't want it to get fixed,
Mhm.
and by having that profound negativity, I could see where that could cause cortisol or other stress hormones to seep in to the picture and make things worse.
Mhm.
Stress kills. That's another term from my grandmother. I have so many.
Yeah. I forget who said it, and Mary probably knows. I'm sure she'll chat me. But the quote is goes something like, "If you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right."
I like that.
So when my son Giovanni comes to me and starts his question by saying, "Mom, I know you're going to say no, but," and I'm like, "Okay, I guess there's
No.
nothing to talk about." Made that easy for me. And he's like, "No, no, 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 no." I'm like, "Mean what you say what you mean."
Right. So don't engage in that mindset when you have an issue. Just face it squarely, face it with honesty, face it with the deepest honesty you can conjure up, because that's how you're going to solve that problem, whether it's diabetes or cancer, whatever it is. Even in normal life, you got to face it, own it, face up to it, own it, and fix it. And I think that's one of the approaches that we all can adopt to get through our days and get through life itself, because life itself is so filled with complications.
Mhm.
Anyway.
Mary said it was Henry Ford. I knew she would know.
Oh boy, Mary. Okay.
All right. Well, you are welcome to continue to, comment or add any questions. We'll just keep chatting about the things on our mind. One of
Mhm.
the things we do want to talk about is contradictions. So the contradiction, how do you move forward with your healing process? How do you make informed decisions? How do you not waste time when time is short, when time is of the essence for your healing process? When you're getting conflicting information from doctors, from different medical and health professionals, or even between us and your doctors, or maybe you're talking to the internet and the internet's telling you other things. So we want to address that because this comes up all the time when clients are using our formulas and then they start Googling things and they're like, oh my God, this herb is going to kill me. How come you're giving this to me? And then we're like, what? So there's, or your doctor has said, no, don't take those products. And now you're like, well, what do I do? This was supposed to save my life. And now what, do I not listen to my doctor? And
Mhm.
so these things come up often. And we figured we would share a bit of how we think about it and how we've handled different circumstances.
I have had this year alone, many of those cases, and I have them with new clients. I have them with pre-existing clients, clients who have been with us for years and years, over a decade. And it is hard. I know it's hard for all of you, and I want you all to participate in this because you're all involved, whether you, your family, your friends. And I'm going to talk about a client. There are many I could talk about. When I say many, I mean probably hundreds of thousands, but maybe hundreds for now that I can actively remember now. We had a client who came to us earlier this year, and she was diagnosed with cancer, with breast cancer. It was a triple negative, which was one of the worst cancers that that ladies can get. And she was initially taking NuSpecies, and she was doing really, really well. She was doing really, 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 really well. She did chemo. She did 3 rounds or 4 rounds, and her body reacted so badly to it that the doctors had to cancel the chemo program she was doing. And they told her then, she has to do radiation, but they're going to wait for the side effects of the chemo to wear off, which was about a month or two or more. And during the time she was on NuSpecies, and she was doing really well. She was really well. She felt normal, energetic. She felt so good. She was so happy that she wanted to come on our show and talk to us. And then she wanted us to go on a radio station and talk to the radio station, but she wanted me to be part of it. And then the doctors scheduled her for radiation, and I was working with her doctors directly. She had several sets of doctors, and I was working with them. So the doctors sent me a list of what she couldn't take while she's doing radiation. And as it turns out, there's nothing we have that she could take. Nothing. Probably the B vitamins, but maybe not even that because it has alfalfa in there. Maybe the vitamin D, but nothing else that when I look at the list the doctors sent me directly, there was nothing we have at NuSpecies with over, what, 60 or 70 products and formulas that she could take. And she listened to the doctors as it was her right to do, and she didn't listen to NuSpecies as it was her right to do. And she did the radiation, and from what I understand, the cancer just spread through her body like a wildfire. She's no longer here.
And that
So
was in
it's
what
not
span
it's
of
not
time?
even 6
Yeah, I
months,
was gonna say it's really fast.
even
Yeah.
6 months. So the point here is that we're not saying we're right. So don't take anything I just said as me saying that you should do what I say. What I'm saying to you is that you talk to your doctors. Let me back up a little.
Yeah.
We still do have tons and tons of clients who have cancer or other diseases, and their doctors, their oncologists allow them to use NuSpecies, all of NuSpecies, no restriction.
Mhm.
But on the other hand, we have doctors and oncologists who tell our clients, not to use NuSpecies while they're doing their treatments. So it's a it's a situation where there are two medical mindsets out there, and you all are confused. I am not confused. We're not confused, but you all are confused as to what you should do, and we don't blame you for that. But I am not saying that you should not listen to your doctors. You should listen to your doctors, but you should also listen to yourself.
Right. Yeah, it's hard because we'll never tell you not to listen to your doctor. Even when you ask us to tell you what to do, we will not. And what it comes down to, and this is why having self-awareness, getting to know yourself, and sitting and thinking in the quiet and
Doing research.
seeing what messages come to you in the quiet.
Mhm.
Yes, you could do research, but I think that's part of what we're talking about is that there if you're looking for the research that's gonna tell you you can do it, you're gonna find it. And if you're looking for the research that will tell you shouldn't do it, that's gonna kill you, you're gonna find it. So
Right, and then you get both community of research, materials from, hopefully they're from doctors and scientists. They should not be from regular people. They should be from experts. It should be from medical experts, people
but
who
even then,
practice.
I know, but even then you're going to find experts, successful experts
Mhm.
who all tell you two different things. You will
Yes.
find that. So
Yes.
what I'm saying is what it ultimately comes down to, especially when we're talking about cancer or a very late stage of any disease where the stakes are really high and if you go one direction for a few months, it could make or break whether you have a chance to go another direction. And it really comes down to in those situations for you to know yourself. And to know yourself, you have to have some self-awareness, you have to look inside, you have to sit in the quiet and hear the messages that come to you because you need to feel that at peace with whatever the result is from the decision that you make. Because there really are no good choices once you get to that point. There's really no right choices once you get to that point. There are only the choices that you can live with the consequences of, that you can die with the consequences of and not have regrets and not beat yourself up about it. And only you can make that decision. No one can actually tell you what that decision would be.
What I've seen some of you do, which is, you know, some of you, a lot of you, most of you are so you new species, I should say. I should call out the new species because the new species, they use the term "come hell or high water." I use it one day or recently. Our new species. There's something about new species. There's something very unique and different about new species. I think new species are governed by traditions and culture and history. And NuSpecians, whether you're black or white, we have NuSpecians from all racial groups, from all over the world, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, Africa, the Caribbean, the United States, Canada. We have NuSpecians, everywhere. What's different about them is that they embrace history, their cultural history, their tradition, and they also embrace their family culture. Family culture, like you've heard me talk about my grandmother a lot. Probably more than talk about my father and my mother because they were too modern for me, maybe. But new specians follow history, culture, and they're not anti-medicine. So I think they have this balanced approach to reality where they recognize the need for medicine when it's needed, and they recognize the need that they have to support their bodies
Mhm. Mhm.
naturally.
Mhm.
And somewhere in their conscience or their brain or their minds or their soul, they come to that place where they either do both or they do one and then go back to the other. But they're very conscious of reality. They live in reality. They're not dreamers. They live in reality.
Mm.
And I think I understand how they do it, but I don't know it all.
Well, I think that's part of why we prefer word of mouth because it means that we attract more folks who believe in how we do things and are looking for how we do things. If we were to just advertise out into the public, we'd probably attract a lot of people who are desperate to get help, but they aren't necessarily desperate for the kind of help that we provide and may push us on aspects of healing that we can't provide or that we're not going to commit to.
Hmm.
So it is great when we have, our new specians we're all very like-minded and but still these, people can sometimes lose their groundedness when they're sick and they're scared, and especially in the later stages when there's less options, the options are more dangerous or scary, and some people choose to do nothing at all. Um,
Right,
and
right.
depending on, it's just like so many factors to weigh, and this is where our consulting comes in, which is really just helping you weigh the pros and cons of your options and helping you be at peace with whatever way you go.
Yep. The bottom line is that science doesn't know everything, and I don't think science doesn't know up to 95, 98% of everything that is, that's out there. So it's still an open field. And we talk of spirituality. There's absolutely zero scientific measure out there, whether mathematically or otherwise, to measure spirituality or spirit. That we all know live in us. We all know we have some level of spirituality in us, whether related to God or something else. We know we have some level of spirituality, but science has zero measurement for that. So sometimes we have to ignore science because science is not perfect like anything else, and sometimes we have to follow our instincts.
Yes. Well, science is everything we've been able to quantify or measure. And a lot of our science to this day is still very much based in materialism, which means that we have to be able to see, hear,
All of
touch,
it, all of it
feel,
is based in
it's all
materialism.
materialism based.
All
There
of it.
there is a movement for science to start to acknowledge what many people are experiencing as real, even though it,
Right.
it hasn't been proven by the materialism standards yet. But in the meantime, that's why self awareness and a deep knowing from inside of you
Hmm.
is a huge part of your healthcare.
Hmm.
Um, and sometimes you have to say no to everything,
Hmm.
and you just know it's the right thing for you. But fear will absolutely dull your ability to connect to that knowing inside of you.
Hmm.
Um, and love helps to open that up. Those are energy, they're actual energies. Fear shuts down everything except, fear shuts down everything except what you need for, your fight, flight, or freeze. And when you're trying to fight a sickness, you don't want to be fight, flight, or freeze. You want to be open and receiving and giving and participating and feeling everything, because this is part of life.
And that's what we do. That's what we do at New Species. We know that science can't measure love, but we know love exists. We know science can't measure hate, but we know that hate exists. Science can measure positive because it's an electric charge in us. It can measure negative, which is an electric charge in us, as it is in the whole universe and in everything in the universe. It can measure those, as Jillian called it, those materialistic elemental things can be measured by science. But when it comes to spirit and soul and conscience and love and peace and purpose and consciousness, there is zero scientific method to measure those. And we know they exist. And we know those make us do things or not do things. So we
Mm-hmm.
know they're real. So when it comes to health, that's what we try to do. We try to help you to unify the mental, the physical, and the spirit. together, because we know that those three are absolutely critical, crucial for better health and longer life. You have to have that balance.
Mm. Yeah, and I would say, especially if you are in a situation where you are trying to focus on your health, maybe it's very time sensitive, and you need to create an environment that allows you to think and to be quiet with yourself. So I would highly suggest the first thing you should do is take out your phone, go to the settings, find the notifications section, and go down that list and just turn them all off. And you could tell your close family and friends, hey, feel free to text me, but I'm no longer going to be getting notifications. So if it's something time sensitive or urgent, please call. You will realize that so much time opens up and so much energy opens up, because think about what happens when you are immediately available to every single person who calls for your attention. You hear the bing, and now, well, whatever your text tone is, mine was a bing, and you look, and it could just be someone saying, okay. And you're like, okay. So now you just got yourself distracted, went back into a whole other world that wasn't even important. And now you have to go back to where you were. Or what if someone texts you and brings up something stressful? It's not urgent, it's not important, but they want you to help them deal with their problem. And you love them and you want to help them with their problem. But do you need to be made aware of it right now? Or could they ask if you have time to meet and you schedule a time and you talk with them later on? With technology making us instantly available at all times for everyone, for anything,
Mhm.
your attention and your spirit and your energy is going to be constantly pulled on in ways that aren't useful and in ways that drain you from the most important thing. And if you're fighting for your health right now, and you know you don't have a lot of time to figure it out and make the decisions that are best for you, you want to minimize all those kinds of wastes of your brain power. I don't know the scientist, and I don't have like the actual link or anything for you right now, but if you look this up, it's called decision fatigue. It's a real thing proven by science, which is that our brain essentially has like a battery for decisions, and every decision you make drains that battery, and there gets to a point where you actually can't make any more decisions. And you might find that that happens to you toward the end of the day. You get home from work, you're trying to figure out what to make for dinner, and like you just can't think of anything, and now your kids are like, I'm hungry, and can you read this, sign this permission slip, and can I go to that thing, and can I talk to my friend? And there's so many questions and decisions being asked of you, and you just want to like freak out and scream. That's decision fatigue. And so if you want to reduce the amounts of things that you have to think about and decide to the things that are to the only things you need to be thinking about and deciding right now is like, should I do that treatment? Should I tell my doctor I'm not going to do that? Or should I say yes to that and know that I have to say no to NuSpecies or whatever else it is? I mean, these are big decisions. And especially when you're getting conflicting information, you talk to one, you'll talk to NuSpecies and we'll say, hey, if you're fighting cancer or a serious disease, you should cut meat out. But then you go to like a nutritionist and like, you need the protein, you should eat the meat. And then you're just like, what? You have big decisions to make. You need to save your brain power and your spirit for these very important decisions. And only you know what's right for you. And you have to have the resilience available to you to make these very difficult decisions. So if the one thing you can do for yourself is just remove unnecessary distraction, you're going to feel a much greater capacity and emotional resilience to deal with the things that are actually the most important thing that you have to deal with right now. So please, if you can, even if you have to stop watching our show right now, go to your settings and turn off all your notifications.
Well, that's pretty powerful, and I think you have described the disease process. Science call what you just described the disease process, and the scientists, physicists especially, they're the ones who get into the tiniest particles of life and existence. So they have found that we are open systems. Life is open,
Mhm.
whether plants or animals, humans, we're open system. We have pores, we breathe in, we drink, we eat, we take in everything,
We're one with our
chemicals.
habitat. You mean we're
Yes.
not we're not we try to convince ourselves we're isolated from it, that it
Yeah.
can't get us. We
Right.
build walls.
Yeah, no, we absorb everything, whether it's from friends, family, Whether it's chemicals or good things, we absorb everything. And what science have shown is that by being open systems, you all should write it down that life is an open system. By being an open system, we receive everything. We receive the good, the bad, the ugly. We receive the negative, the positive from everything and everyone. And then because we receive so much and we're not pushing out,
Mm,
we absorb it and we keep it and we hold on to it. And they call it, oxidative stress,
mm,
where these things, they start to damage our cells, they damage our genes, they damage our DNA because they're physical, they're materialistic. Everything we're receiving as an open system, they're material things, they're real mass, they're real things. And those are the things that help to break down our genes, our DNA, our cells, the functions in our bodies, and lead to stress. And that's what can lead to any disease: blood pressure, diabetes, cancer. It can lead to any issue at all. So you have to limit your open system as much as you can by by good nutrition,
like
by
creating
exercise.
boundaries, like creating healthy boundaries.
Right, right,
But yeah, sorry. Yes, you were giving examples of them.
right.
Good
So
nutrition.
that's another way to fight,
Mhm,
the open
mhm,
system. To You need to have less, and you need to be taking in less. You need to have less, not more. The more you have is the more destructive it is. So you need that balance. And part of the balance that we try to give you is good nutrition, and you drink water, you exercise, you have a good diet. That's just one piece of it. That is not even touching the mental, spiritual realm. We're just touching the physical realm.
mhm,
That's a whole nother place that we have to, like you were saying, meditation and silence
mhm,
and quiet time. Those are all absolutely critical to have,
mhm,
the better health and the longer life,
mhm,
and to cure your diseases, cure our diseases. We all have diseases of some kind,
mhm.
and that's the way to fight it. And
Right.
that's what we're talking about today.
Right. Megan asks a good question. So she says, Good morning. I have an upcoming procedure, and they requested that I stop all vitamins and supplements 7 days before surgery. Is it safe to continue taking the products since they are natural? So, although we don't have any evidence that there would be any contraindication if you continue to take our formulas, it's a short period of time. The doctor wants you to be really cautious. It's not going to make a huge difference in the long term of your healing. So, we just say that's a situation where you can listen to your doctor and just stop taking them and then just resume right after.
Hmm.
Right.
I agree.
Mhm.
I agree. Some doctors, and all doctors, I think, are concerned when you do a procedure or surgery. They're concerned about bleeding. Bleeding is always a concern,
Right.
especially if anyone has predisposition to bleeding, whatever the case is. You really don't want your blood to be too thinned out
Mhm.
if you're going to do a procedure or a surgical procedure. So it's always safe to think about too much bleeding or too much blood loss. Even if you don't die or don't get sick from it, you still want to limit the blood loss from any surgery or procedure.
Right, or
And,
are them having to take any sort of extreme measures that could create other sorts of problems.
right,
So, it's just good to remove the factor as well, because if something does go wrong, you don't wanna be wondering, like, "Was it because I didn't listen to them?"
right.
So, it's just good, and especially procedure's a pretty serious thing, and it's a one-time thing, and then it ends. So, it's a tough we're talking more about when, for example, a family member was recommended to do radiation, and it was going to be a long ongoing thing. It was going to be devastating for her body, and they didn't want her taking anything with antioxidants, eating anything with antioxidants. And it was like, wow. So we're going to do a treatment that is going to destroy her body, and we're being told not to give her anything to
Hmm.
help her body fight back, because that could undo the effectiveness of the treatment. And it's like, that is just the worst. And that's why there's really no good decision there. And then it just comes down to the individual, whether that's even a treatment that is right for you that you would really want to do. And if it is, then you probably should fully commit and listen to them. I don't think they're telling you that for no good reason, but it's really tough.
Yeah, new species is food. All our formulas are food. They're actually food. That's why we call or formulas or products, they're whole foods, right? They're foods, they're real foods, natural foods. So
Mhm.
that is our position.
Yeah.
But
And a
when it
lot of,
comes,
I just want to quickly say, just because
hmm
when you say our products are food or they're extracted from food, and we keep them in their natural form, which limits their potency or concentration, right? So, like, if you just create, let's say, vitamin E, what can vitamin K thins the blood?
it does.
So, if you were just to be getting vitamin K that was created synthetically in a lab and it gets concentrated into a tablet, they could make that really unnaturally powerful, right? Even though a vitamin is supposed to be natural. And this is why
hmm
we struggle with that word because there is no legal definition for it. So it could be considered natural, but it's really in not only an unnatural form, but an unnatural concentration. Doctors don't want to mess with whether you understand those, and they might not even understand those distinctions. So it's like they're just going to say like, "Don't take it."
hmm
Whereas um, our products have like our B vitamins are extracted from whole food sources, so that's going to limit the amount, and we give it to you in a liquid, so that's going to limit the concentration to stay within like a natural amount that you could just get from food
hmm
as well. So yeah, it's like having food.
Right. And so another logic, in favor of the medical system in terms of surgeries and all of that and medication, they're also concerned that foods that are high in chlorophyll um, can. Some doctors do think that way, some don't, as we said before, can thin the blood. And if people are taking supplements that are made in labs, they're compounds and they call chlorophyll. Chlorophyll can do that. So there's a point there where the doctors are saying, if you're taking supplements, not foods, you're going to eat your foods, but if you're taking supplements, you should stop because the doctors have no way to distinguish whether you're taking compounds that are made in a lab or synthetic chemicals that are made in labs. And let's say it's vitamin K made in the lab, chlorophyll made in the lab, all these other supplements that are blood thinning made in the lab. Then the medical community is absolutely correct that if you're taking supplements like those, but NuSpecies is not like those. NuSpecies are made from whole foods. So that what that means is that NuSpecies have the vitamins, the minerals, the phytonutrients, the proteins, the enzymes. It have all the unified components of life in the NuSpecies formula. That's a huge difference. That's universes away from stuff that are made synthetically or made in labs or compounds that are made in labs. They're just huge, huge difference, vast difference, infinity difference between between NuSpecies and compounds that are made in labs. So
Mm.
but the doctors don't have time to research for you and see what supplements you're taking, right? So if you can bring them the bottles and show it to them, that may make a difference. You should never hide new species from your doctors. You should always disclose new species to your doctor. Take the bottles and let them look at the label. And what we have on the label is legally permissible by the United States government to be there. What we have on the label is legally permissible by the FDA to be there. So you take our formulas to your doctors and say, here, this is new species, and that's what's on the label. And the doctors will know that if we have it on the label, it's true, right? They know that. And if it's on the label and it's wrong, it's illegal, they know that this company going to have a very, hopefully, short existence.
So we misspoke a little bit. It's vitamin E that does the thinning. K does the clotting.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
K does
yeah.
clot. Right. And vitamin E and chlorophyll, those are thinning.
Mhm.
Um, those are compounds that can thin the blood out if you take them synthetically or in forms of compound. But yes, vitamin K is a clot. It's a blood clot. It does blood clot, and that's why we don't carry it.
Mhm.
It may be in the herbs, in tiny, tiny amounts. We don't really count for it because if it's in there, it's so minute, so tiny, it would not have any effect on if you have issues with blood thinning. If you're taking blood thinners, it wouldn't have an effect on those.
Right. And vitamin K really should just be created by bacteria in your gut anyway. When you have a healthy diet and your gut is balanced, the bacteria in your gut actually creates B12 and K. So really not things that we should be focusing too much on supplementing. We should be focusing on having a gut that's balanced enough to produce those things.
And the body will produce those things when it needs it. That's the key of having good diet, right? If you have a good diet, a good lifestyle, you give the body what the body needs. The body will make what it needs. Like you were talking about glutathione a couple days ago, that our bodies can make it. So why get it made in a lab? You know, it's one of the most powerful enzymes our bodies need to detoxify and cleanse itself. And we have clients who have said that they're taking glutathione, but guess what? Our bodies can make glutathione naturally. And all you have to do is to give the body what it needs, and the body will do that. Yeah.
We have time for one more question. Diane is asking, I take mega food supplements from Whole Foods. Are those safe to take? So we can't speak to the safety of any other supplement. What we can tell you is our criteria. And Diane, if you're one of those folks who came to NuSpecies for healing and didn't realize we also have supplements, then we suggest you try ours. But I'll tell you our standards. So our standards are that vitamins, especially, have to be cold processed. If you apply heat, they're damaged, destroyed, they're no longer healthy to you, so or helpful to your body. So if you're taking a supplement that is not cold processed, which it most likely isn't because we are maybe the only company in the country who does it this way, then you're really not getting what you are paying for. We also believe in liquid as ideally as a delivery system whenever possible, so that it's essentially pre-digested and there's no effort on at all for your body to absorb those nutrients into the small intestine. Most capsule products out there are not made from an easily digestible source. Ours, when we have capsules, are veggie capsules, and if you were to just hold them in your hand, you'd see they start to get sticky. They dissolve very easily. Most other capsules are not, and so whether you actually break those down to access what's inside. Also, tablets are so highly compressed and often like put together with like glue, like edible glue, but glue. They don't break down in your small intestine. And so, again, you're not getting what you're paying for. And even if you were getting what you paid for, if it's not cold processed, it's likely dead and useless to your body.
Mm.
And then also, we do our best to source all of our so they are not damaged. We keep them as a complex, so you're getting all the bees together, so that way they are working together to serve your body versus isolating individual nutrients, which we do in really rare cases. So all the raw material that gets sent to us because we test it and it's not organic, or we test it and it's not the ingredient that we were told it was, or we test it and it's not just the ingredient we were told it was. It has fillers of other similar plants that are not what we wanted in there. So we go to really extreme levels to get you a product that is powerful and safe the way that it is. And we definitely cannot speak to whether any other company is doing that. And their product may not be unsafe, but it may not be helpful and worth the money. So if you haven't tried any of our supplements, we recommend you do. You probably will notice a difference very quickly.
Yeah, just to underscore that, we have been trying to make a new formula for over a year now, probably more than that. And we just can't find the organic or wildcrafted ingredients to do it. So, and still waiting, and still don't have a timeline as to when it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just underscore your point that it takes time to make each of the formulas that we have. There's just so much, folks,
and it costs
that
so much.
And costs,
It
yes,
costs so much.
yes.
And it's just hard to help make people realize that because we have that natural assumption that if something is being sold in the store or the government is allowing it to be sold, it must be safe, it must be effective, it must be a good product. And it's just not true, unfortunately. And like say often is that the FDA that is there to make sure products are safe. They are not there to make sure that they are effective. And most often in manufacturing processes for supplements, the method that manufacturers use to ensure safety is called a kill step, where they apply very high heat to all the raw ingredients in order to kill any pathogens, anything in there that could make someone sick. And then in turn, they also kill and destroy the healthful ingredients as well. And so you'll be getting a product that's safe, but not most likely not very effective, if at all. And we have a whole unique process that we've developed and proved to the FDA over a really long year investigation to show them how our process is safe, but also allows our products to be really effective. And they were very impressed. And we continue to have an excellent relationship with our FDA folks who come to our facility quite often. So yeah, it's hard to help people understand that why our products cost so much and why we choose this very specific and weird way to deliver our products. It's not fashionable, it's not trendy, it's not cute, but it's real. And that's all we care about, is that when you take them, you're going to get the results you're looking for.
Yep. Sometimes pretty is not everything. I have no idea what I just said.
If you go on social media, that would be the opposite.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm talking to friends and family, so
Yeah.
but the
Oh my
bottom
God,
line
if you
is
get notifications from social media, if you're resistant to my idea of turning off notifications, at the very least, please turn off notifications from any social media you're on. And my recommendation is to move those apps to like the last page of your app screen so you don't even see them on a daily basis. You're going to not believe how your body calms down and your mind opens up and you feel more accepting and positive about things in your life because you're not comparing yourself to 100,000 other people on a daily basis. And that's going to help with your healing so much. Please, if you are on social, do everything you can to get off of it or to minimize your use of it. It's a wonderfully freeing experience.
how about you'll have more time to pay attention to your health so you can live better and longer rather than being distracted by things that provide probably in some cases absolutely no value to your life and your health. How about that?
Right. And I have folks in my life who went through like a very conscious social media phase where they just like made the algorithm only show them things that they wanted to see, like helpful gardening tips and crafts and things that are wonderful and positive. But I'm like, you're scrolling that for an hour a day. Are you actually putting to practice any of those cool things you're seeing? Or maybe you see something funny and it makes you laugh. Like, haha, okay, great. You got a little laugh. How many of those do you need in a day? Turn around and like look at your kids. They're going to make you laugh. Like, get off that darn screen. It's going to really open up a whole new world of options for you when it comes to healing. And it's the only way you're going to get to that quiet place where your body's going to give you the answers you need for very, very important decisions.
Boy, we talk about a lot today. We talk about physics and chemistry and science and the medical practice, medical health, medical system, and social media. We covered a lot today, and I'm very happy that we're able to get in so much. And I hope you all share. You should share all the episodes that we have with family and friends, but this one you should share with family and friends because we did cover a universal amount of factual information that will be helpful for every single human on the earth, which is about 8 point something billion. Everybody on the earth would benefit from this episode because we did go into the nitty gritty, as my grandmother would say, of things. It means the details if you don't know what nitty gritty means.
I know what the nitty gritty.
Okay.
I can't
So
tell you where the expression comes from, but
okay.
I know it.
So we went into the details of science, of physics and chemistry like we never have, and real life and how they apply to life, how they apply to life, how they apply to NuSpecies, how NuSpecies applies to them, we covered that. And I'm very happy that you were on today. Because we didn't plan it, by the way. That's what happened when Jillian and I started talking.
That's why we can't drive together, because we miss all the exits.
We do. Even our exit that we know very clearly, we just drive right past our exits.
I was like, stop talking to me.
Well, this is how the curtain comes down today, and I hope this was fun for you and helpful, and provide you knowledge and information that you can go research on your own and confirm or unconfirm, and be
Come back
helpful
with
to
more
you.
questions.
Yes, yes, that too.
All right, folks. You can always submit questions in advance if you go to the NuSpecies app. So just go to your app store, download the NuSpecies app. It's free. And right on the homepage, you can scroll to the section that lets you submit a question. That way, if you're the person who, when you come on, you just want to listen and you don't want to have to worry about chatting, we'll just get to your question for you. Please subscribe before you go if you haven't subscribed to our channel already. And if you want to receive emails or texts from us, we don't really send more than once a week unless we're doing a discount that we want to make sure you don't miss. So we hope it's a valuable addition to your life. So you certainly can go to the homepage of our website, and there's a little icon that will prompt you to sign up for our emails and our texts.
And give us a review. Go, pick your favorite product or favorite products, and go where with Google.
And we missed Joyce's question. I see Mary's apologizing. We can quickly, I don't know how much we have to say about this, but Joyce was just asking, she's having a problem with her hands. They're numb in the morning when she wakes up.
Why don't we make an effort, Mary, for me to give her a call?
She gave her the number
this afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Joyce, let us know if you're available so we can get to you.
So we're going to go back to now to finalizing by begging for reviews.
Yes, go back to begging for reviews.
So please pick a favorite product or NuSpecies product, or favorite products Jillian is praying, and go to Google and give us a review. It can be, I like NuSpecies, or I like the detox, or I like the body system. It could be just that. It doesn't have to be this long essay being written out in volumes. It can just be something very simple. Just say you like NuSpecies. We would like you to do that for us before you get into your day today.
And Mary's showing you, if you want to do a review on the site, you just click on go into the details of a product, and then right below the details, there is a spot where you can write your review. So that'll let you write a review specifically about one of our formulas, or on Google, you could just review us as a company, as a partner in your health, whatever you want to say. It doesn't have to be some big miracle testimonial. It doesn't have to get into your private information if you don't want, but just having thousands of reviews where people are saying they trust NuSpecies, they've been helped by NuSpecies, that is wonderful. And a little extra touch is when you give some praise to Ashley or Shania or Crystal or Mary. That makes them feel super special. And I always screenshot it and send it to our internal chat. So if you want to call out your favorite team member, please do.
And we also do the Q&A. You could like our Q&A. We give information. You could like that. We really delve into a lot of different things to give you the most universal perspective on life as we can, relating to health. So if you like that as well, so I think there are 1,000 things that you could give us a review on if you think we are doing good with any of those things.
Yeah. It's really helpful.
So thank you in advance.
Yes. But we also appreciate all of you. I know Thanksgiving's a time where we're supposed to, overtly say how much we're grateful for you. But we truly believe NuSpecies, this work is a win-win. If you don't get help, then we don't succeed. And it has to go both. It has to be both. So we are here to help. We are here to serve. And if there is anything that you need from us when it comes to your health, or our products, or our services, or our communication, or our process, whatever it might be, other than asking us to open a store somewhere else, please don't ask us to do that.
Because we can't find anyone to work at these stores. That's the problem. We can't find anyone to work there.
But yes, we need your feedback. We're so grateful for you. You make us as good as hopefully you think we're good, and we believe you make us great. So we would love to continue that into the new year.
All right.
Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you next Saturday.
Bye-bye.